Hello there, thirdbinaryoptions.com here, and we are looking at extending our binary options academy projects here with an important concept: how to trade binary options with a trend line. I mean, what can be more difficult or more easy to understand than a simple trend line? A trend line, first of all, has 2 points or connects 2 points. This is how you draw it. However, there is a catch. A trend line always should take into consideration, let me put it in here, always should take into consideration the series of lower lows or higher lows that is going to be broken, and the trend line, of course, needs to be adapted. Now, let's look, for example, at the Euro-US dollar. This is a Euro-US dollar on the daily chart. So any examples that we will use here on how to actually draw a trend line will come with a set of rules that can be applied on each and any currency pair, on each and any time frame, and every time frame. And the only thing that is different is that the expiration date needs to be according to what the time frame is. For example, if you trade a put option or a call option based on the daily chart, and you don't go and trade end of day, even if it ends up being right with the end of day, it is only by luck. We want to avoid that, and let's try to start our analysis from the moment that market made a top on the 1.40 level. Basically, it was 1.5 years ago, and on the 1.40 level. How do you know, or what would be the first thing to look for in a reversal? Well, first of all, we are looking at the market is forming a series of a high, and then it makes a low. Correct? We are not going back in time. We just want to illustrate how a top can be picked. Then makes another high, but then, or a higher high if you want, but then fails to break the previous low. So you have a higher high, and then we have a higher low, and then yet again we have another higher high. And then the thing to do is to look at, or to draw a trend line from the previous lows, and then to watch the trend line being broken. By the moment that the trend line is being broken, actually from this moment on, let me try to illustrate it in here. By the moment that the trend line is broken, then we know that the previous trend is losing its strength, and we should look for the beginning of a new trend. What would be the beginning of a new trend? Well, the beginning of a new trend can be determined, or the new trend can be determined with a trend line. You know the saying that the trend is your friend. Well, using a simple concept like a trend line is the beginning. So how to use this trend line? From the moment that the previous higher low has been broken, we gotta start and draw a trend line from here, from the previous high, and we just put it on the right side like this. We just put it on the right side because exactly the same concept that we use in identifying a top after a bullish trend, we should use it in identifying different channels, different trend lines with our with the new trend that is going to form. So we have a low, and then market bounces a bit, and then we mark this low in here, and we want to see a series of at least one series of a low, and then a lower high, and then a lower low. So we have a low, then we have what? Market goes and forms a lower high, basically here, and then it goes and breaks the lower low. This is not the template. Let's take this one. This is the very first thing, or the only thing that one needs to know in order to identify a potential new trend that is starting. Well, if a new trend starts here, then we gotta look at the trend line. We take our trend line and we connect the previous high that we had all the way to this high in here, and then we drag it on the right side, and this is a trend line that we have. Let's make it a bit different. Let's make it a bit different like this. So we have a trend line. Let's move on with the second part, trying to identify places where to trade call options based on simple trend lines, nothing else.